Hi investors, so Gevo stock has been up over 52% over the last month. So we really need to have a look at this stock because I've been talking to you about this stock on this channel, and there are actual reasons why it has gone up so much. Lately there's been a bit of good news from Gevo. So for example, this bit of news came out recently that One World Alliance members to purchase basically fuel from Gevo, and it's basically a piece of news that is something we've seen over and over again as Gevo investors. So it's basically the latest customer coming along and booking a quantity of basically fuel for the future, because as you know, Gevo is not producing yet. In this case, this customer was One World members, so it's basically just a group of customers, and they want 200 million gallons per year. But that is obviously, and this is where the catch is, the delivery of the SAF is expected to commence in 2027 for a 5-year term. So then other news similar to this, as I told you. So there is British Airways, and I'm based in the UK, so it's an English company and it's quite close to my heart, let's say. I use them, for my trips, and they want to buy. They want to buy from Gevo. They want to buy 30 million gallons per year, and that is obviously of the fuel that Gevo has got a proprietary basically patent for it, and it's what will make the difference if you believe in Gevo as I do, but it's happening in the future. So it's not happening today. And so why is it actually going up, this stock? Because we are just looking at vaporware here to some extent. Now, I may sound a little bit bearish now, but let me just explain. So there are reasons why I think that Gevo has got a very good chance of surviving, because we've been through a bit of a rough patch lately. The first one, and this is the one that I always look at all my stocks. So the first thing that I look at is the amount of cash. So the cash and cash equivalents, they have about 475 million, and that is compared to the 522 that they had in the previous quarter. So this figure came out 3 weeks ago in the latest earnings report. Now, in terms of the phase of this company, we are still a very speculative play, because obviously we are burning through cash each quarter, and the time of the period of the stock market cycle does not favor companies like Gevo. What the stock market wants right now are profitable companies, possibly companies that have got very strong growth in spite of being already profitable. So companies that are basically stable. That's what the market wants, stability. And they seem to be awarding some growth even to Gevo in spite of being a company that is not profitable yet. And in fact, we see that they burn through quite a big chunk of change, let's say, for just one quarter. We're talking about basically 50 million for just one quarter, and also not considering that this company does not really produce much. They are just basically now burning quite a lot. They have a plant, but that plant does not produce too much. Now, what is going on? Why are we in this situation? Because Gevo is building this plant that is called Net Zero One. This is the one thing that you need to always think about if you are a long-term investor like myself, and that is the main factor that you should look at and getting updates on, because it's the one project that will bring home the cash. And so this is the update. So Gevo is targeting Net Zero 1 to be mechanically complete in late 2024 and operational in 2021. Now, this is actually bad news. I must say that based on the previous estimates, they should have been able to start producing in 2023, or at the latest they said 2024. Now they already talk about being operational and productive in 2025. So you see that there's been a delay, and probably the delay will keep going. I think the reason is, and I'm gonna tell you in just 1 second, is the money. And I'm gonna tell you how much is gonna be this gap in terms of money they have, in terms of money they want to put into this project. So based on the current assumptions, including those around future commodity pricing and future environmental benefit credits, basically they will need a total of 900 million. So again, this is bad news because it's not something we want to hear. If you just wind the clock and go back in time to when I was making more bullish videos about Gevo, well, the estimate was 500 million to complete this project. Now they want almost double that. So that's negative. And again, I'm gonna get in a second to the reason why Gevo is going up. And it's something that will absolutely blow your mind, guys. So it's kind of negative. 900 million, we are actually possibly spending double what the initial estimate was. And now they're saying that they will approximately generate 100 to 200 million of EBITDA per year. Now, EBITDA, that means it's already basically, they're implying that it's profitable. Now they put a little footnote here, and that's the usual Gevo way of addressing things with little footnotes, hoping that no one will go and read the footnotes, which is again not very fair, to be honest. They say that net zero project EBITDA is a non-GAAP financial measure that we define as total operating revenues less total operating expenses for the project. So in reality, this basically EBITDA is just operating revenues and operating expenses. So they do not account for the costs of SG&A, for the cost of sales and marketing, all those costs that are always fixed for the company, they're not accounted for. So overall, the profitability will be already less than what they are telling us here. So that's not really great, but at least it will be something. Imagine having at least 100 million profit, but that will be in 2025. And so that kind of brings me back to the main point of this video, because so far I've been giving you news that it wasn't great, that was actually a bit negative, but there is a reason why it's going up, because just going back to the beginning, it's up 52%. And in the last 5 days, it went up a whopping 28%. Well, the reason that you have to keep in mind is this. So if you look at the S&P 500 over the last 1 day, but if we just change over the last month, now we see some sectors that have really underperformed and have gone down. Disney plummeted down, lots of companies went down, etc. But then we look at energy, and the energy sector has really gone up. Like, apart from one company that really that didn't do too well, but most of them really exploded. And this is the reason. It's basically because the whole energy sector has been boosted by the price of oil. And as I've told you, by the way, I've got quite a lot of money in oil as a commodity. I've been keeping the money there. I've been actually taking profits, putting money in, and so on, because I was expecting this, guys. So that's the kind of videos I make on this channel. So subscribe if you're interested, and also interested in Gevo. But the point being, oil is propping up the entire energy sector. And not just that, even companies that haven't produced anything at all. So for example, Gevo. And so you have to understand that Gevo at the time of recording is a company that is very, very speculative, incredibly speculative. We saw the amount of cash. That is the amount of cash that Gevo has got now is not even sufficient. 475 million. It's not even sufficient to fulfill the amount of cash that is needed for the project, for their main project, which was 900 million. You see, 900 million is obviously more than 475. Also considering that we need to get to the time, basically we need to get to the moment where we're gonna plow this cash into net zero one. So that will take another few years, and in those few years, well, Gevo will have to, unfortunately, I must say that, either find more partners that will join Gevo, that will spend money on Gevo's projects, but also Gevo can and probably will at this point basically dilute their shares again. So what I'm expecting is a dilution, and I'm still holding, guys. I do not have any intention to sell Gevo at all. I think that if you are into this company, you would want to buy and hold for the absolute long run. But if you have watched this video, well, at least you know what to expect for the future. Probably more dilution, possibly strong growth as soon as we are gonna hit this, finish to build net zero one. Now you have a new timeline. We are expecting the actual production to start at the beginning of 2025. We'll see if it gets delayed even further. But other than that, thank you for watching. Click subscribe, and I'll see you in my next Gevo video.